Hello everyone and welcome to another tier video, this time for November. We kind of skipped out October. I was thinking of maybe waiting for a patch, but then I realized actually the meta's been shaken up quite a lot anyway through just innovation. So yeah, there is definite changes in the tiers, so I think it makes sense to have another tier video. So without any further ado, let's take a quick look at what the tier list definitions are. We're going to use the same ones as last time. Pretty basic ones. So S tier is insane units that probably need a nerf. A tier is very strong. B is good playable units that you'll see quite often. C tier are units that aren't terrible, like they're okay, but I would not recommend using them. And D tier are the things that I would recommend you just never use. Always avoid D tier. I think D tier are absolutely horrible. I think there's almost always a better choice than if you're going to play a unit than whatever's in D tier. Okay, so as always, we're going to start with the commanders. Here is the commander list. So, as you can see, Liang still sitting in S. He's got that big plus on him still. The reason is because he should really be S+. Liang is just completely broken. Yeah, not much to say here. Same as before. Liang is totally busted. It's busted at healing. It's busted at stealing pads at the last minute. You can use it to block if you're a professional Liang player. Some of the really good Liang players use it as a blocker for things like snipers because you can't occupy the same tile as the drone. Yeah, Liang is just the best commander. He's just outrageous. Probably, like, for sure needs a nerf. As you can see, Jade has moved from B to S. Pretty big leap. The main reason for this is, as most of you probably know, the Jade laser drone meta deck. Basically, if that deck wins even one missile, it just wins the game by throwing stuff at your base. Laser drones and phantoms and chems and just cat missiles do so much base damage that basically you win one missile, you have enough time to destroy your opponent's base through direct attack. This is what's broken about Jade. If you remove the ability to kill bases with Jade, it will be back in B tier, possibly even lower. It might be a C tier because it really isn't very good in combat. But the base kill is so broken that I felt obliged to put it in S because it needs a nerf. Like, it is broken, it needs a nerf. So it's in S. Seth is down to A. Seth is a good commander, but you very rarely see him these days. A lot of the aggro decks that play Seth favor Oksana these days, or they're just Oksana decks because they're things like Fnatic aggro, or they're Jade decks because they're trying to Jade bomb the base. So yeah, Seth is down to standard A tier. Still a decent commander, just doesn't really have a great home right now. A lot of the decks that wanted to play Seth are playing other stuff now instead. Everyone else is pretty much in the same spot as they were before. Strong Arm is arguably actually just in A tier, but she's just like nothing's as good as Liang right now. So Strong Arm's still between A and B, and everything else is still the same. Kayn has moved up slightly. He's moved from almost falling off the page into just regular D tier. This is basically just because Suzaku has been playing this Tick Tank Kayn deck a lot, and he really likes Kayn, and I've played against him in customs and so on, and I've been, I wouldn't say impressed, that's not the word, but I wasn't, like, Kayn was not a detriment. Kayn actually was something he wanted to use occasionally, so he's in D, which is still don't play it, but he's no longer falling off the page with how bad he is. So now we're going to move on to the Nod tier list. The big changes in Nod are, as you can see, laser drones are now up to A tier. And the main reason for this is, again, this Jade laser drone deck is absolutely rampant in the metagame. Crutch is very hard on the laser drone phantom combo. Along with Venom, laser drone Venom Phantom makes up a large percentage of Nod decks. There is the Avatar deck, the Artillery deck, the Centurion deck, the Tick Tank deck. All of these decks just use these 3 air units plus a single ground unit plus 2 infantry. They're basically the core of a ton of different decks because they're just such an efficient combo. So they're all in A tier now. The Chem Buggy is down to B. The main reason for this is that it's not that good against Chem Warriors, which are everywhere at the moment. And it's really bad against Laser Drones. It's pretty squishy and Laser Drones can hunt it down quite easily. So the Chem Buggy is no longer as strong as it was. The Banshee is down to B, again, because the Phantom is everywhere. Banshee's really bad against Phantom, and also it's back up to 60 cost, so not as strong as it was. Stealth Tank is down to B. Again, it's this air metagame. Laser drones are so efficient. You can't kill enough laser drones with a Stealth Tank to make up the cost. You need to kill 5 whole squads. and laser drones just tear up a stealth tank really quickly because they're such low hit points. So yeah, even though Phantom and Venom are really popular right now and stealth tank's really good against them, laser drones are making stealth tank really, really awkward unit right now. Scorpion, exactly the same thing again. Laser drones are everywhere. A lot of decks aren't playing ground vehicles as much anymore. GDI has been an an air-based faction for a little while now, and now Nod is moving the same way. It's a very air-based meta game. So yeah, Scorpion not as strong as it was. Tick Tank, however, is up to B. This is because it survives the laser drones quite a long time when it's burrowed. And again, there is this Tick Tank deck that Suzaku's been playing. He's been playing it in tournaments and having some success with it. So Tick Tank it plays differently to Scorpion, but it's arguably as powerful now. It's kind of like the Nod version of the APC. And I've put Buggy in B tier. This one is a little bit controversial. I've been using Buggy lately a lot in the Fnatic aggro deck instead of Wheels, because it's really good against Chem Troopers and it's okay against laser drones, and that's a very popular deck right now. So I've been really impressed with the Buggy lately, and also there's less tanks around, like less Scorpions, which was the main reason the Buggy was terrible. So I'm pretty happy with Buggy in B. I know a lot of people might disagree with this one. It is a bit controversial, but yeah, I've put Buggy in B, and I think that's about where it belongs right now. Scavengers are down to C. They've basically stopped existing in the metagame. I think the nerf was too harsh. And yeah, their C tier reflects that. They're not completely unplayable. They are still similar to lasers, but I think that they're just worse than lasers in almost every way at the moment. And the Basilisk is up to C. This is because they did that change where it charges up quicker to get to its max charge, which means it's actually pretty good against infantry now. This change wasn't that recent, but it is something that's been creeping into the metagame slightly. Basilisk is more impressive than it used to be, so it's up to C. And Flame Troopers are down to D. There's just no time when you ever want Flames instead of Fanatics. Fanatics are cheaper and just better at almost everything. They're better for basically all jobs. So yeah, Flame Troopers are just absolute garbage right now. They're really bad against Venoms and Wheels and Fanatics. The only thing they're good against really is Chem Troopers that's in the metagame. And even then, they're not great. They're just like decent. So yeah, Flame Troopers absolutely horrible right now. Razorbacks just come out as well. That's a good unit. Makes Flame Troopers even worse. So they're firmly in D. Okay, let's take a look at GDI. So GDI, the Razorback, the new unit, is solidly in A tier. This one, it's a little early still to say, but it seems very powerful. I don't think it's overpowered. I don't think it's an S tier unit, but it is definitely good. And there are some good GDI archetypes that are using Razorback along with Mohawk primarily to form a frontline fortress that's good versus all ground. Yeah, so I think Razorback, new unit, goes into A, pretty strong. Everything else is pretty much the same for GDI in terms of A tier. All the air units are there pretty much. Air meta confirmed, guys. Also up into A, the APC is back into A, which I think is fair. There's the Suzaku GDI deck is good again, and there's quite a lot of Fortress-style decks running around at the moment that are using MLRS with APC frontline. Those are pretty scary decks. And the APC is a core part of them. I also think the fact that Liang is so popular has made the APC even stronger, because APC is so gross with Liang. So APC is back in A. And Snipers have moved up to A tier. They're hard countered by Razorback. Like if you go up against a Razorback deck with Snipers, you're going to get wrecked. But they're phenomenal against the Chem Trooper deck, which is very popular right now. And they're excellent against Fanatics, which is the other most popular Nod deck. So yeah, Snipers are really, really good right now. The map pool is pretty good for them as well in Tiberium League. So, yeah, Snipers are a big part of tournament meta as well. If you see GDI in tournament, they're usually Pitbull Sniper decks in an attempt to shut down the Jade deck. So, yeah, Snipers up to A. Slingshot's down to B. I think people have just realized that the Slingshot's just not that good. It's oppressive against light aircraft, but it loses to Orca and Borka and Inferno 1v1. It's awkward to move it around. It's got a hit point nerf, so it's pretty fragile now. So yeah, Slingshot's down to B. Zone Troopers are up to B. Zone Troopers and Sandstorm both are up to B. This is because these two units are just overpowered. Like, they're in the Tech Lab, which is why they're in B and not like in A or S. Because they're strong. They're really strong. These units are both incredibly strong. But they're in B because they are still in the Tech Lab and they still come out too late in most aggro games. Against like Nod aggro, these still come out too late. Against Jade meta deck, you're going to lose the game before you make any. because they're just going to bomb your base. But if you do get them out, these two are probably the strongest, along with Mammoth, the strongest GDI tech units. So they're in B tier now. Shatterer's down to C with its speed nerf. It's just so horrible right now with the speed. The only person I know who plays Shatterer at the top of the ladder is Dice. He loves it. He plays a Shatterer MLRS Slingshot Fortress deck, but he's the only person I see playing it. I think they're really quite bad right now. And MG is also down to C tier. This is largely because people are just catching up on levels. MGs are just not good units at equal levels. They're only good if they're higher level than your opponent, because it's so important for them to survive. The difference between MG surviving and dying is so colossal, especially with Liang when it heals up, that any extra hit points makes them completely oppressive and extra damage. So when they're at equal levels, they're just not very powerful. And yeah, people are just catching up on levels, so they're no longer... They were dominant in the metagame for a while because a few people had 15 MG and people didn't have 15 counters. But now people do, and the MGs just aren't that good at equal level. Wolverine and Kodiak are both down to D tier. I just don't think there's any reason to ever make a GDI tech unit that isn't a Mammoth Tank, a Sandstorm, or a Zone Trooper. Those three are so much better than all the other GDI tech units that, yeah, I think that it doesn't make sense for them to be in C tier when you should never be playing them, really. The other GDI tech units are just so much stronger. And Shocks are down to D tier for exactly the same reason as Flamers. They're just not good in the metagame right now. Snipers are really popular, Chems are really popular, Fanatics are really popular, and Shocks are just bad versus all of those things. So yeah, Shocks are down to D tier. Alright, with that, that's everything. That's all the units. Hope you guys enjoy the tier video. Obviously, I'm sure there'll be some disagreements, but yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think, and I'll catch you next time.